Hello, my name is Ayomide Ajayi, and I am a geology major at University of Maryland. On May 18th, I traveled to University of Nevada, Reno for a summer geologic field camp, Geology 451, which is a 6 credit level course. And this summer field camp lasted for about 5 weeks, and during this week we had 5 projects, and we had to team up with different students every week. So we could not team up with someone we paired with in the previous week. And each student was responsible for submitting individual mapping project unless specified by the instructor that we had to submit a group project. But otherwise we had to submit individual project and mapping projects. So for the first week we did a 5-day mapping project in Ely. And for the first 2 days, I believe, we went to Ilipa Reservoir where we had like an introductory exercise to like get a feel of how we can use the Brunton compass, like how we can identify rocks and limestone and sandstone and like differentiate between the rocks in the area and how they overlay each other. So the mapping project for this the first week was also done to like demonstrate how the volcanic rocks in the area overlay the sedimentary rocks and like to also identify um the events that occurred that caused the folding in the area. The second project lasted for about 6 days in the Oz Camp formation. This was also near Ely, Nevada, and it was mostly a sedimentary this week was mostly to identify sedimentary rocks and like the deposition area as well. And this project helped me a lot to develop a few skills associated with mapping and interpreting sedimentary environments. It was a long walk because it was a wide region and was mostly like flatlands and like a lot of sand because we had to identify where the source was and what the sink was. So it was a really large area and we had to walk around it to like map the area well. For the third week, we did a geologic mapping of swells in Elko. So after the second project, we had to drive back to Elko, which is about 6 hour drive, about 5 6 hour drive, I believe. And in this area, we also worked in teams and groups to develop maps that showed the relative timing of the intrusive and volcanic rocks in the area. So we had the sedimentary rocks that were deposited before, and then we have volcanic rocks intruding, and we had dikes also intruding into the sedimentary rocks. So we had to identify which one came first, like what volcanic rock came first before the other, since we know that the sedimentary rock was probably deposited before, and we know that the volcanic rocks were intruding into the sedimentary rocks. So we had to identify the volcanic rock that came first in this region. And at the end of the this third project, we had to give like each group had to give a few presentation, explaining what our thought process was and like how we thought the intrusion happened to the instructor. So the instructor acted like it was coming from a mining company, and we were just like workers that were employed, and then we're trying to like explain what we think was going on in the area. Uh, for the fourth project, it was a 2-day exercise. It wasn't that long, and it was mostly an introduction to economic geology in Elko. This also took place in Elko. And we're able to learn about the Carlin style gold deposit. And since it was just a 2-day course, they had to give us like a brief introduction into the Anaconda mapping style. And it wasn't we couldn't get into the old detail of the Anaconda mapping style because I think it would take like a long time to actually understand the whole process of it, but they gave us like a brief introduction, and we also did like a mapping project on that. But it was just a smaller region, so it wasn't a large region that would take a lot of time for the two, given that we really had the 2 days to get this project done. So the fifth and final project was it was a road trip along the Highway 395 in eastern Sierra Nevada, connecting to California. And we visited like Sonora Pass, Bridgeport, Mono Lake area, Mammoth Lakes, and we also the like, instructor also taught us about the tectonic and magmatic history in the Mesozoic Sierra Nevada act in the area. This project lasted for about 6 weeks, and at the end of the project and the at the end of the week and the whole field trip, we had to submit a mapping project for this a mapping project for this for the final project.